No one was looking. The opportune moment had arrived. She had weighed up the consequences and concluded that the risks were worth taking. Abigail laid one foot on the track, then another and another, each step taken in fear. Fear that she would be seen, that she would be caught and brought before the authorities. She was aware that she was trespassing and she would face punishment for her actions if she was caught. But that was secondary to her. Her priorities were clear: providing for her family. That was her established priority, and it would not be compromised. If that meant crossing the tracks, both endangering her safety and risking arrest, then so be it. But her children needed water. She would not deprive them of that need. The route across the tracks that Abigail had mapped out was the quickest way to collect water. It was equally the most hazardous way. She relied heavily upon hope to deliver her to and from the well, and thus far her hope had served her faithfully. Should she take the safer but longer route, the journey to collect water would consume so much of the day that it would become a financial burden such that it meant sacrificing work for that whole day. Living in a slum with her husband and 2 children, Abigail faced many daily afflictions, regardless of their struggle for water. The scarcity of water in their village was only fuel on the fire of Abigail's life. The fire of poverty, the fire of struggle, which grew ablaze in their life. Regularly, Abigail was forced to choose between the lesser of 2 evils: the long route that would often compromise that day's work, reducing the household's income, or the shorter route, risking her safety and facing punishment by crossing the infamous train tracks. The discouragement of this way of life grew to a severe extent. To daily look upon those loathsome tracks and amass some degree of bravery to cross them gradually weighed on Abigail's spirits. And she was by no means ignorant to the fact that she was not alone in this daily struggle. She was immersed in a community that shared this battle for water. Upon reaching an emotional boiling point, Abigail sought out the guidance of her pastor. Being a GFA-supported pastor, Malachi listened intently and encouraged her to keep trusting in God and praying for a solution, while he petitioned for a Jesus well. Abigail's prayers were not left unheard. No, rather they fell on attentive and caring ears. God soon blessed Abigail and those in her village with a gift rooted in abundance. Physical and financial endangerment would no longer be a requirement for the people in Abigail's village when retrieving water. In her village, a Jesus well had been dug, one that could provide clean, drinkable water. The sweetness of the water, the flawless purity, the level of purity they once thought impossible, was now at their disposal. The well brought to the community a life and love that had grown increasingly absent. Abigail and the 100 other families need no longer look over their shoulders in fear as they make their way to collect water, but rather could walk a few meters in complete peace and joy. To have a well of drinkable water in such close proximity was nothing the people in Abigail's village had ever experienced or thought possible. And yet, now they experienced it. Now it was possible through God's provision. The well completely revolutionized the lives of those living in the slum and opened many closed eyes that they might now see how much love Pastor Malachi had for them. It also opened many eyes to see the love that God has for them. A love that never wavers, but always continues. Stories like this are not uncommon in Africa and Asia. Millions are still, like Abigail, risking their lives, risking arrest, or risking their income just to collect water. We at GFA World have a deep desire to put an end to that. And by giving to our clean water giving category, you will be playing a part in that journey.